We're going to do a little thing of I talk for about 20 minutes and then you talk 3. Okay.
I got a few things to say.
Okay. And then after that, we're going to have time for our group. Any questions you want to ask, and I ask you to listen to yourself because you'll know what to ask. Sometimes we go, oh, should I ask this or that? Just kind of settle yourself, and you'll know what to ask. I will never tell you anything that is something that is what I call negative, because there's no purpose in that, unless you specifically say, I don't know this and that. But I will tell you things that anybody can hear about you. I told you this is going live on YouTube. We're really pleased to be able to have Sean do this for us. It's kind of weird, but I like it. Now, I'm going to introduce Alicia. Let's pretend you don't know me. Alicia, my business
I don't actually
partner.
know her.
You, like I am, are an intuitive, and we have been doing this for a little while, not together. This is our first big event. We've done individual readings for people, but this is our first big event.
Yeah.
And we're just planning for this to grow and grow. And that's what both of our guides, we have our guides, of course, that said, it's time for you to do this. You know, something, we get that sometimes in our life. Oh, it's time to do this.
Yeah.
And then we'll start questioning and all that, but no, it's time to do this.
Well, and I will say what I really like about partnering with Deborah.
There's something you like?
There's something I like about her. Surprise! You're much more clairvoyant. Deborah tends to get a lot of imagery, and I tend to hear things and feel things. So together in partnership, we tend to bring similar messages with a different kind of flavor and spin on it. So
That's true. That's true. You can sit down now.
Excuse me.
Because I want to get this log rolling. Because I want to
Get it going.
Each of y'all have something that is really important for us to look at today. So let me tell you this little part, because this is to me imperative about understanding and connecting your physical self with your non-physical self. Hang on a sec. As an intuitive, and you can call me a channeler or a psychic. I happen to not like the word psychic. I think it's been used in weird ways. It's not clear anymore. But an intuitive, I can see things around you. Images are my thing. I can really see images. I can hear from the other side, but it is not on the wavelength that you and I talk. Okay? And I am intuitive enough that I can read all of your non-physical energy. Because all energy is vibrational. Everything, this chair has its own vibration. Everything is vibrational. One of the things, your light has its own vibration. I think I mentioned that, but it's so imperative. Have you ever been around someone that you kind of, maybe they're new, or maybe you've been around a while, and you just kind of not particularly comfortable around? It's because their vibes are very low, vibrating at a low level. You've been around someone who you like them. You like to be around them. Maybe they're funny. Maybe they're just really smart or whatever. High vibration. I'm going to start from my background. As a child, I have always been able to connect to the non-physical. This is not a new thing in my adulthood. I've always been able to do this. And I've had several past lives that I've honed this, and so now I'm at a certain level with this. This two incidents happened to me as a child. One time I came home. I happened to grew up in Northwest Louisiana, so we're talking Louisiana, Texas, and Arkansas. That's this accent. And then half the life is in New Orleans. So we lived in the country in Northwest Louisiana. And so, rode that yellow school bus. But I came home from school. I was in the second grade. I was 7 years old. And I came home, and I came in, and there was this lady sitting in the living room. Okay, my mom has company. So I said, okay. And I go in and I said, good manners, hello, I'm Debbie. Have you seen my mom? I was just wondering, she's around, and the figure did not look at me. She was sitting in a rocking chair in front of a fireplace, just like this. I said, excuse me a minute, and I went looking for my mom. And I said, who's the lady in there? She said, there is no lady in there. I said, no, Mom, there's a lady. Come here. We go in there, and she goes, no, they always used to say I had a great imagination. Let me tell you, imagination is key in non-physical world. And I'm going to give a talk on that at a later time, but do not squelch your imagination, okay? Now, if it's based on fear, say don't bother that. But remember, it's a key for you. So I realized that she was not seeing, my mom wasn't seeing what I was seeing. Okay, well, all right, you're 7, you don't really get. Okay, go outside. Now I'm playing with my brothers and sisters. I was the eldest, which means playing with. I had to watch them. What's the deal with that? But I saw these 2 black beings, black as in their color, but they not earth beings. It's not like they were a black person. Their energy was really, and I could not see their face very well. They did not show me your eyes. Your eyes are the windows to your soul. Couldn't see that too well, and they started playing with me. Peek around the house, and the other one would peek, and I thought, boy, they're kind of fun. But who are these people? Who are these people? But they weren't people. And so finally, they spoke to me and said, "We are your guides. We are 2 of your guides." And I said, "Guides to what? I mean, what do you mean guides?" And now we are not. We are doing it from this level. We're talking this level, reading each other, And I said, and they said, it's important, and we will come to you later on in your life, because you hadn't even gotten close to what you will be doing. But we want you to know, you got to start paying attention to the non-physical. Most people cannot see what you see. So they were prompting me to be not afraid, of course. And I wasn't afraid. I didn't feel afraid. And so those were 2. Oh, and then my mom came outside and said, where's your brother, sister, everything? And I said, Mom, look, pretty cool, huh? And she goes, what's cool? That's a tree. I said, no. You see those leaves? No. At that moment in my life, I said, I want nothing to do with this. I mean, people are going to think I'm crazy. I am a little crazy, I know that. But I mean, they're going to think you're crazy. I don't want that. Because when you go to school, whether it's middle school, elementary, whatever, high school, you want to be with the group. You don't want to be seen as the weird one, the different one. That's kids. I mean, that's just life. You want to be in a group. So I kept it quiet. Went on my way, merry way, went to college, got my bachelor's degree, then I got my master's degree, and then I went into broadcasting. I was an anchor for a while. I was a reporter for a while. Wrote and produced documentaries. I even got an Emmy. I won an Emmy. Great, just moving along here. I hosted a radio show for 8 years, TV show, did that. I wrote 2 books, and those are the ones you find there. But then one day my guy said, you got to get with it here. And I said, what, that? They said, fine and dandy. Because I knew that I felt a little hollow, but I couldn't understand quite what that was. Because now I put all that behind me, that kid stuff. No, that doesn't exist. And it's time for you to start doing what you came here to do. And that's to love yourself and to help people love themselves. That's your job. And you can see what other people can't see. You can feel what other people can't feel. And you have to remember, you cannot be afraid. So I argued with my guys. And by the way, your guys can argue with you. Everybody thinks, oh, my guys are like, oh, so wonderful. No, they'll argue with you. They'll argue with you. But guess what? They won. So here, because I'm here. So one of the things I wanted to talk about is definitely intuition. Your intuition is your inner knowing. It is powerful. But we're not necessarily in our society taught that, to rely on it so much, right? But it comes with your body. That is your source to the universe, and is your source to those on the other side, and mostly it's your source to you. So here's the deal about intuition. Your brain works with your intuition. Most people think, oh, they're two separate things. No, they're really not. You actually can form a partnership with your brain because the gut is the one that sends signals to the brain. That's the intuition. I'm sending you a signal here, brain. I'm sending you a signal. And the brain actually helps you, well, here, it gives you past learnings, it reminds you of that, or preferences. The two of them working together allows you to make a wise decision. Scientists actually call the stomach the second brain. This is your second, because the stomach has 100 million neurons in it. It's actually great at processing, not just physically, but processing energy. And it's a reliable tool to believing and trusting in yourself. The U.S. military is teaching its young soldiers how to use intuition in battle. They've realized it's absolutely part of being a human being. That this, because they say that they've realized that it goes beyond the analytical, like a soldier has to think, is someone coming, or or the guy on the airship, big one. What are those called? Airships, I guess. But the whole is, instead of just using that, use this too. We've all not, you've all felt it. I feel like somebody's behind me. You know what I mean? Maybe you're walking and it's dark, and so you feel like somebody's behind you. Yeah, there's your intuition sending signals to the brain. Step away or go somewhere else. So I want to tell you, the last thing I want to tell you is about my guides. I've talked to them ever since I was a kid, but then in 1982, I went through this period where I was deeply, deeply depressed. Did not want to be on this planet. Did not want to be here at all. I didn't know quite what was going on, but actually it was my intuition, my body saying, start doing what you came here to do. Depression, I say, is a gift because it forces you to start looking at things a little differently. Because you either make a decision to stay here on this planet, because I literally, at one point in my life, had a gun to my head. I was going to leave this planet. I didn't understand it. People are cruel to each other. I don't understand racism. I don't understand people being mean to animals, all of those things. I ended up talking to a family friend who was a psychiatrist, and he says, you have a special ability. And I said, no, I don't. He says, time to start using it. So I say depression is a gift because it leads us in a certain way. Here's the last, I want to leave this little discussion. I'm the only one talking, you can't call it a discussion. But anyway, by saying this is something my guide said to me, literally. The more you are aware of your instinctive feelings, the more you'll come to understand the power you have in creating balance and joy in your life. The more joyful you will become, the more light will shine inside you, your special light that is only your light. It vibrates of you. And your life will be better. And really what this is if we get into the physical again, is quantum mechanics. They've realized in the study of physics that there's something even underneath that you can't find underneath the atom. You can't see it even, but they realize it's something. It's called intuition. It's called your vibration. But they're using that. So you develop your intuition by believing and trusting your hunches. As long as it's not based in fear, because fear is not giving you anything but fear. And I have this hunch that it's time for you to take over.
Was it really?
See, I'm listening to my hunches here.
It is time. Well, Deborah is so organized and lovely. It's very clear that she has an Emmy in radio hosting. I, on the other hand, tend to be a little bit more loosey-goosey. And so when we were getting started with this, Deborah often tells me that I'm bananas. And so today we're going to practice something called banana breath. It is intended to be fun and loose. A lot of the energetic skills we're doing today are to really feel that in your own body and understand how this feels just in this small group. If I say something and that doesn't feel right for you, you don't want to participate, it's okay, you can just listen. If you feel like getting engaged and participating, please do so. And we were talking a little bit before all this came about, and so many folks right now are moving into, I'll call it a new reality or a new dimension or a new style of life. Sometimes this happens through events that occur. Maybe we have a new relationship, we move, we graduate school, whatever it is. And sometimes these are more like feelings, and all of a sudden you can tell your whole life has changed without really seeing the fruit of that yet. And so many people are in this, so we're going to do a forgiveness type practice. This is really just saying how grateful we are for our time and our experiences so far, and whatever is no longer serving us. Just give it a little metaphorical hug, say I love you, and say goodbye, right? A lot of us are moving into new chapters, and this is our own kind of energetic graduation of appreciating where we've been so far and welcoming in that new chapter so we can move into a new space. When it comes to intuition, anytime that you are joyful and relaxed, it's going to be so much easier to hear that intuitive guidance. So if we are laughing, if we are having fun, if we are having silly, I want you to know that as much as it's just fun to be silly, it's also going to help you to retain more of those messages and be a better receiver to that intuition. Intuition comes through in all different ways. I generally just like to think of my senses. You can smell things, you can hear things, you can see things, you can feel things, you can taste things, and the same way most people in our society have access to all of these senses, more often than not your intuition can come through in many different ways as well, right? So you might see imagery of something and also get a smell, or you might hear something and also taste a food, right? The other tactic I will remind you of, I like this word like so much. Like and both are probably my two favorite words. And a lot of times when we are using our intuition, we don't necessarily show up and are like, okay, I'm ready to use my intuition, guys. It's time, right? You just have this inspirational moment come through where all of a sudden you know something, you pick something up, you see something. And so that word like is one of my favorites because oftentimes we don't know what we're intuiting yet, right? We're getting a feel for it, we're starting to understand it, and that's where all the time I say it's something like this. And so a good example of that, when Deborah and Barry were, and thank you to Barry as well for allowing us to use his office, we're getting ready to kind of see this. Barry was talking about his space, he hadn't found this yet, and I kept telling him I see something like a fire door coming up, and that of course is this garage door over here that I was picking up on. And so oftentimes if you're getting that intuition, just know that you're on the right track and let it unfold, because it's nothing is written in stone, but there is a really good option that your energetics have already created for you. So move at the pace that's right for you. Oftentimes we get intuition when we need it. We don't know it ahead of time. So, you aren't going to know about something on Thursday, but Thursday when you need to know it, you'll understand it, right? The other word I mentioned was both. I love this idea of both. So often we think we need to negotiate, or you can have either or. And if you just get on board with this idea that there is limitless abundance in terms of energy, you can always have both. So if you ever start to feel or understand that you're kind of negotiating or compromising in some way, know that there's mystery option C that says, no, you can really just have both. Because a lot of times when we start doubting or negotiating or having some kind of rhetoric that says, oh, if you do this, you can't do that, or if you have, the love life, you can't also be abundant, whatever those things are for you. Those are just a couple of the ones that come up a lot. Know that you're just kind of moving your energy into that fear-based energy, and that's going to instantly shut down that intuition. So if you're all ready, please indulge me. Feel free to get in kind of a meditative space, whatever that means to you. I'll just give ideas. If there's something else you want to do, please do it. I like to have my feet flat on the floor. If you have your hands down, that's going to be more grounding. Hands up is going to tend to bring in more of that celestial energy. More often than not, I like one of each. So just do what feels good to you. And yeah, exactly.
Alicia, I'm gonna, that heater, the system is on, so it's not as easy to hear you. You might want to yell, not
okay.
but you know what I mean. 'Cause I know
Can you all
that's
hear
not-
me okay? Okay, good.
Yeah, 'cause it's now on, so.
No, I think we got it, because we're going to go into that space that's a little bit quieter. So you can start to close your eyes, just start to take a few deep breaths. You can breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. And here's where it gets fun. So this banana breath is one of the easiest things to remember. There is some science behind it, but if you just take each one of those syllables, banana, that's where I want you to have your breath go. So inhale, ba, hold, na, exhale, na. It's that easy. Just remember we're playing here, so you can start to find your own rhythm. What's nice about that word banana is that you can adjust it to whatever your personal rhythm is, while there is this energy of the group coming through as well. So as you start to tune in, take that deep breath in, hold, and exhale. Banana. We're just going to open ourselves up. If there's anything that's no longer serving you, anything that has been in your past that you would like to let go of to free yourself moving forward, just take a moment to attune to that energy now. If there's anything to say as you're greeting and saying your goodbyes, allowing this to move into the past, take a moment or two to have some final conversations. When you're done, come back to your breath. Let your focus sit there. And with gratitude, just wave goodbye. Wave goodbye to whatever that is and let it go on its way. There's a better energetic space for whatever that is, whether it's a person or a situation or an attitude or even a tangible physical thing. Have that gratitude and let it go. As we return back to our breath, we're going to call in just an energetic cleansing. Sometimes this can feel like you're standing under a light waterfall. Just begin to feel like the sun shining down on you, a style of heat or warmth. Sometimes we feel it cool, so just be observant and feel what you're feeling. And allow that energy to wash through your entire energetic body, cleansing and clearing. Just giving yourself a little bit of a reset and an energetic boost. Coming back to the breath, deep inhale, hold, and exhale. Deep breath in again. Hold. And exhale, really letting everything go. Now that our energy has been purified in this new state, we're going to do a grounding exercise just to really bring this new version of self into us. You might feel it from the base of your torso or even your feet. imagination is in your skill set, you might imagine roots growing out from the bottom of your toes, connecting deep into the earth. You might see an anchor or some other connection point. Begin to feel your energy and foundation strengthen. You're connected here in this body, in this room, in this moment in time. When you're ready, allow that energy to come up through your tummy, through the heart space, and into your mind's eye, and burst out of the crown, returning to that energetic body, that higher light being that is within and all around you at all times. If there's any final energetic tweaks or messages or intuition coming through for you now, just take a moment to yourself. And when you're ready, we'll join together in breath again. Feel free to stay where you are. Take a deep breath in, returning to the room, starting to blink the eyes open, maybe wiggling fingers and toes. You know, some of us went quite deep, so just take a couple moments coming back to this space. And if you're still hearing messages, stay where you are. Really allow that conversation the time that it has. All right, my friends. So some of these assumptions around intuition are that it simply is there. And even if you don't fully believe that, if you just let your mind roll with this idea that it's there and I just need to access it and connect with this information, it's a lot easier to find it. Even if, you know, we kind of play mind games a little bit. So if there are things that came through and if you're willing and open to it, please share. We've got a couple of minutes just to see what that felt like for you, see if you received any intuition or had any other experiences. You look like you want to get us started.
You know, I'm so silly.
You got a joke for us?
Well, I just feel like everyone, this is what I'm picking up here right now, is everyone has questions, personal questions, sometimes just energetic questions. So, and I feel like it starts with you. This is what I see.
What do you got for us, Kim? No, I'm kidding.
Well, during what we just did, my body shuddered.
Mm-hmm. I saw, yeah.
Twice, like, what was that? I'm not asking, that's not my question, but that was just
Yeah, that's great.
interesting.
Well, and
You see how the energy changes according to what you're seeking? You know what I'm saying? That now what according to that she's helping you connect to that? Mm-hmm. Yep.
yeah, and that's where that calming down and that joyous open energy is when it's a lot easier to let things just happen, right? Because sometimes we try so hard, like I need an intuitive moment, I need, you know.
Yeah.
Anytime you try really hard, you're not in the right energy to receive, right? So, you know, even just kind of laughing, even if you don't mean it, if you can kind of fake laugh, it'll roll into a real laugh, your energy will relax, and that will help you be in a better state to receive that guidance and intuition as well. The other thing to remember too, something I do a lot when I'm playing with decisions is I'll kind of play the what if game, and I'll say, I'm just making an example up for the sake of this. What if I was moving and I was trying to figure out where to move, and I've got a couple options on there where I can be like, well, if I move to Charleston, how does that feel? How does that feel in my body, right? Does your body start to tense up, or do you feel this relaxed calmness and peaceful energy? And across the board, there's really not a wrong choice ever. It's just a choice of what flavor and what experience you want to have. So, you know, you might have the really fun city, you might have the very serious city, you might have the mix of both city, right? And you can use this to kind of start seeing how each option, in whatever decision you're making, see how each option feels and let that be the guiding force of how you make your decision.
So what is top of mind for me is that my mom passed today 1 year ago.
Oh, wow.
And so that's just, I don't know, headlines.
Your mom comes and goes to you. Do you know that? And it's almost like you can feel a breath on your neck, so to speak. I mean, it's not, but that kind of a lightness on your neck, that is her trying to contact you to let you know that she's there.
Yeah.
And that she's showing me like shawls or something, or scarves or anything. Did she wear those? Did she love those? She says something about scarves, and the scarf being, does it have any kind of connection to you, to anything that you do, scarves or ties, or she says that is something she's trying to get across.
I know.
When I give readings, I always say, you don't have to know it right now.
Yeah.
Go on, all of a sudden you'll be going to the refrigerator and go, oh, that's right, I think I put this, get put that in. Her biggest thing to you is to tell you to stop worrying. This is her message to you. Stop worrying. She said, you're spending way too much time worrying. She wants you to enjoy life more, and she knows you have serious things to be considered. But she says, it's important that you understand when you are on the other side, there's humor there too. Everybody thinks it's so serious. There's humor, joy comes, but that's her big concern.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's showing me, she wants you to sit down with the pen. I thought, do we use those anymore? But anyway, sit down with the pen and write 5 things that bring you joy right now, and cherish those. Yeah, big deal.
Yeah. I have been working on my joy. I took up skiing again.
Oh, okay, now.
It's been bringing me a lot of joy.
Yes.
My parents were big time skiers.
Oh, okay. That's great. Like that. Stay with that. That's good.
For mine, when I was in that kind of meditative state, it's just I had more image of being on the ocean on a boat, just kind of flinging around, and it all of a sudden just became more still, and I just saw myself out on the boat, the ocean, kind of going, which way am I going now? And it's interesting because I've had some like transitions this past year where I went out of a 9-to-5 job into my own business, and right now I'm feeling some sadness, and I'm feeling a little bit like I can't get things done. Like I'm usually very organized. Here's my to-do list, and I can do it. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, it's been 5 hours, and I haven't got anything done. Like what's going on? I don't understand. Kind of like this feeling of sadness. But I don't know what direction I'm going, I guess. So.
Yeah, with any transition, right, you grieve what is being let go of. And it's not to say that it's not right to transition into the next chapter, but you know, that could be the greatest like up level of your life, and there's still going to be a part of you that's going to miss where you came from and have that appreciation of what you're also leaving behind. And it sounds like just kind of really allowing that gratitude for what has occurred, because it seems like you wouldn't be able to move into self-employment without these other experiences as well, right? Like those were the foundation that allowed you to be where you are today. But the other thing I'm seeing a lot of is this like real stepping into the role. Like there's a part of you that's still a little timid about fully diving in. And
Hence the boat scene.
yeah.
Diving into the water. Wonderful image there. That's that. And also, your guides are encouraging you, saying you don't have to be so stilted so that everything has to be organized. Now, listen, I'm an organizer, so I understand that. But it's more like allow yourself just to have nothing to do in one day. Nothing to do except, okay, you gotta go pee. Okay, I mean, yeah, you gotta eat, yeah, but nothing to do. And then it's almost like and it is like what you're saying, and you you become more intuitive because you're not focused on the demands of living in a human life. So you'll connect them more, and you'll find that you're gonna say, oh, after 30 minutes, okay, now what do I need to do? I don't know if but it's very, very critical because of this juncture in your life that you allow yourself just to be. It's hard. I understand. I mean, truly, but this is important. That's why you're in this situation where, I got to get this organized, but I don't really want to go organized because your heart, your light is saying, well, let's not organize today. Just be. And then when we just be, information comes. Mm-hmm. Now it's coming in the form of intuition, and then it comes up. Yeah.
Along those lines too, we hear a lot about like the law of attraction and the law of vibration, and really all of the universal laws, and you'll kind of see different versions of that depending on where you look them up. But that law of vibration and law of attraction work hand in hand. So the law of vibration basically says whatever resonance you're vibrating at will attract similar energy of that resonance, mm-hmm. right? And the law of attraction says that two items in resonance are going to come together. And so right now it's kind of like you're standing on the line, if you will, where half of your energy is still in this old role, in this old position, and really an old life, right? Your whole life is shifted, moving into this self-employment realm. And so since you're still kind of half and half, you're still kind of attracting some of the old life with you. And that's where really, energetically cutting ties and saying, no, I'm moving into this new phase. All of my energy is going to be aligned with this self-employment, with this new abundance, with this new, it's a new role of leadership, it feels like, for you, right? There's a new level of independence that you're stepping into, and the more that you can, truly what Deborah was saying, relax and just allow yourself to be in that new energetic state, everything's just gonna follow.
Yeah. And that leadership she's alluding to is leading, we're talking about leading you, not leading things around you, but leading you. And that's what your intuition can do. But it's one of the most difficult things, I had this ability to see all this and do, but my guides used to fuss at me. They say, be still, because I'm Miss Hyper here, be still, feel the moment. Don't feel like you got to take care of everything. Be still, And I actually go, Alini knows this, that there's a park near my home that I go to, and it's a small little park, no bench, none of that stuff. And 5 days a week I go and just lean against the tree and allow myself. And of course, immediately you think, okay, tomorrow I got to do this, and just let it pass. See, people try to say, no, I can't think that. No, just let it pass. It's like on a highway, let that crazy car just pass. Don't try to do anything about it. Just let it pass, And that is something we're not, again, taught necessarily in our culture as to how to be still. We try to do it at night, but then it can get rough at night because you don't sleep well or something. You know what I mean? So just be still and nurture you. Because why did all of us come here?
To love ourselves.
Thank you. To love ourselves.
And
number one.
Forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, forgiving is always very important. That's great. Cheyenne, what you got going?
I got birds.
Oh.
Birds. No, not
Not the cute ones, the scary, evil ones.
No, they're cute. there are birds on my balcony.
On your what?
On my balcony. On my
Balcony, okay.
At my home. They are dead birds.
Mm-hmm.
So I just keep on wanting to ask who sent those.
Let me ask you this. You said dead birds. Is this a constant thing of having dead birds and then more dead birds and then shows up more dead birds? And
No,
or is it right just in the recent?
just in recent.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, it just, I mean, yeah, this is the first time in the past 2 years that I've lived at this place where this has never happened, so I'm just.
Well, first of all, the birds that are dead are telling you to let go of your past. That's dead.
I hear that.
All right?
Yeah.
Let go of that. Let go of your past. You have spent a lot of your life trying to please people,
True.
and I ask you to please you. That doesn't mean, get the ripest banana, like she loves the word banana. But you know what I mean? That's the time I'm talking about what feels instinctively good for you, instead of trying to please a relative or a friend or, co-worker, whatever. Birds also are a symbol of change of direction. They're telling you. Birds are constantly, right? They don't just go up, and birds symbolize, if you have birds around you, change of direction. You are looking for a change of direction, and you have support of that. You've got your guidance. You've got you. You often question where you can do things, but let me tell you, you're smarter than you ever thought you were. Remember that. It's time for you to go make another step in your life.
Can I hear that? I'm like, somebody's, so one of these guidance they really screaming at me right now.
Yeah.
They are,
Right.
they're
Right.
like, here it is.
Yeah, well, it's because you're not listening.
Yeah, I'm not.
Instead of saying, hey, I'm going to get an amplification here.
But that's honestly kind of a breath of fresh air too, because if you're not listening, the message is just going to keep coming
It
in
will
different
keep
ways.
coming
They're going
until
to
it
try
just,
and get to you until you understand
And it's
it.
great that it's coming, even if they have to scream at you, because it's better than not having anything going
I
on.
told them next time, please don't send dead things.
I'm curious, what kind of birds were they?
They're
Like
small,
the tiny little.
Like
smaller birds.
wrens, like a wren or a sparrow,
Mm,
like that.
I'm not quite sure. I tried to look them up the other day, but they're smaller. They have a gray back and like a orange red belly,
Okay. Yeah,
Sounds- it
because
sounds
orange
like a
is all
sparrow,
around
doesn't it?
creation.
and they're all the same. They're the same bird.
Yeah.
They're no different, and there's 3 of them.
Yeah.
3 of the same birds. One is in my planter. One is on the floor, and then the other one's under a chair.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how? I mean, I'm on the 3rd floor.
Yeah.
So they would have to have flown on my balcony and died.
Yeah, they're messengers.
Yeah.
This is great.
Okay, cool.
It's absolutely great.
Well, and I've heard it a couple times today, but this idea of passion is leading you. So if things really light you up, right, that's your intuition in a very subtle form. So if something sounds fun or cool or like, oh, what's over there? Like, just go with it, because that will really help your creative energy to flourish in this new reality.
Well, as we say in the South, Miss Selene, what you got going?
Well, felt very natural and easy to physically relax, but I could tell that my light, whatever else, was not quite wanting to go. And so for me, I think it was more feeling sensations than like any particular thought, just kind of going through a process of being in the moment was kind of what I was trying to experience, and getting out of my own way and just letting things go. I think had a lot more internal dialogue just around being, a thinking being and choosing my thoughts and kind of being a little more relaxed and less judgmental. Although last night I used the wrong butter in a dessert I made, and my daughter goes, "Is that kind of salty?" And I was like, "Oh shoot!" And I'm not letting it go. It's been running through my head, and right because I have to take it to my mom's house tomorrow.
Now we're going to know we know now what's going on here.
So yeah, I started thinking about that a little bit. Like I just gotta be okay with it.
Well, Alina, one of the first things that your guides are showing me, actually, it's a great-great-grandfather who's passed. Obviously, he's passed. Great-great-grandfather. He'd be like 200 now or something. But he says, "Stop trying to be perfect. You already are."
Yeah.
You know this about you, and it's really. You're so kind, you're so generous, you're always considering everybody else. But also you think it's not good if it's not perfect. I'm saying it that way, it's the best way I can do it. And that is one of the things you're now moving into, of letting go.
Yep. And I logically don't believe that. It's like
right.
It's a deeper emotional feeling.
It's an emotional
Yeah.
thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's like I logically know that that's not even what I'm striving for. But
Yeah.
something
Oh, I
is-
know. I understand.
Yeah.
But emotionally, and sometimes we can bring things in from another lifetime, even though I'm not really. We do have different lifetimes. And one of the things, I'm just going to throw this in, and I'm actually going to give a talk soon, but is before you incarnate, before your spirit comes into the physical form, you actually outline some things you want to deal with this lifetime. It's not God, and I will let you know the work I do is not religious, but it is based on God, and I have to define God. God is the all that is. God is the all that is. Even this is God. It's all that is. But you outline some things you want to do to increase your light, because we are constantly wanting to increase our light, whether we're in this dimension or another dimension. That is our job, to increase our light. And I think for you, like we're saying, the perfection thing is a big deal. But when you're, like for me, I'll just give you this personal, very personal thing, is that in many lifetimes I was a severe alcoholic. I even physically hurt people. I was an alcoholic, right? So I do not want to have another lifetime of being an alcoholic. I see how there is nothing there that is of joy for anyone. So what I did was I said, I am going to give myself a disease that forces me to take care of myself at all times. Well, since I've been a teenager, I'm a type 1 diabetic, 4 shots a day. I have to constantly be aware of it. I don't drink alcohol. I'm not even interested in alcohol. Not even wine. And I think wine's great to go with certain foods. I understand that. And I'm not anti-drinking. But for me, this lifetime, I chose not to have anything to do with alcohol. And so and this disease forces me to take care of my physical body, because I so abused my body in other lifetimes. And we'll do that sometimes. We'll say, this lifetime, I want to deal with this. But what you decide to deal with is up to you. There's nobody looking over your shoulder saying, well, you need to look at that. You need to do this and do that. And when you do cross over, when you have died and you crossed over, there is no one judging you. And people don't understand that judgment does not exist on the other side. But what's there is you to look at how you live. You're the one not to judge, but to look at your life the way you lived it. Not to be mean to yourself or anything, but go, oh, you know what, I seem to keep doing that. You know what I mean? Or that's something that, I get it. So it's not about God judging you, you're good and you're bad and all this. It is about you looking at what you did with your life. And it's actually a very beautiful system if you think about it, because you're responsible for it. But there's also the choice. We always have choice, no matter what. We even choose our parents, but y'all might not understand that. We choose our parents so that we can learn certain things, And so so that was my thing, is that, so I gave myself this disease. And like I say, I was diagnosed when I probably had it about the age of 10, after I learned about how I would eat tons of food and I was like 90 pounds. But we had some skinny people in our family, so nobody really paid attention to it. But I was very, very thin because I wasn't using my food. I was basically starving myself to death, not on purpose. But then when I found out that this, and then I basically found out by one day I was getting up to go, I was, like I say, a teenager, and I was getting up to go, and my back hurt was kidneys. My kidneys were shutting down, but I don't know that. I don't know that. And I thought, oh, and I thought, all I got to do is go pee, because, it hurts, kidneys. So but I couldn't stand up. Couldn't stand up. So my sister, I was staying with her for a little while, and she rushed me to the emergency room, and they said, man, you're severe diabetic. I'm surprised you're even living, And I go, oh yeah, I think I know now what this is about. So everything has a purpose, but we choose. Mm-hmm. We choose. And I say, and one of the last things I want to say, because is that those on the other side, whether it's your guides, whether it's family member or whatever, but those in the spirit world, respect and honor people who decide to come on earth, because it's a tough place. And it's going to test you about this and that. Not test you if you're good or bad, but you're going to be having experiences, because the physical, this planet, and we know how chaotic it is even right now. It's so chaotic, like what? But they say, we honor you, Deborah, and anybody that comes, because you are brave. It's like you decided to go to the hardest school there ever was. This is it. But by learning and by coming here, you also have these wonderful experiences, and you realize, oh, joy and loving myself and believe myself is the key. Listening to my intuition is the key. And then I don't have to live an unhappy life, And when you get to that discovery, your light just goes, and you also decide when you're going to go. It's not God deciding. God gave you the choice. So you decide when you're going to go. Your soul, your light says, okay, I've learned what I can learn this time. I'm going. You could be 2 months old and decide that.
Yeah,
you could be 100.
You picked the wrong parents.
Okay, come back here. That's funny. But anyway, so I took a lot of your time. So did you? Go ahead.
Oh no, that was great.
I'm just
I
going
think
by
it
what
was helpful.
my guides are talking to me nonstop,
Yeah.
and I'm trying not to.
Well,
yeah.
and I love you talk.
Just on somebody told me that there's 7 exit points each person has. Do you think that's true, or is it just we just know?
Exit points, yes. Everyone
You mean
has a
as in
different
passive
number.
crossing over?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Well, you do, I know.
I can tell you about a couple of mine.
Yeah,
I feel like that might be
near-death
fun.
experiences are opportunity. I mean, you can come
Yeah.
back and not come back.
Yeah.
And I've had
Yeah.
2 near-death experiences, and I do know this. I don't think that 7 in numerology, is at least what I understand, is means completion. So maybe that's where it's coming from. But you can be in a plane crash, and then all of a sudden, you decide, I'm not ready to go. I mean, your soul, it's not your conscious. And we see it all the time. This guy walked away, everybody died in the plane. So I'm not quite ready. So you always have the choice. Always. And you will have, most people have 2 or 3 times when they could have died in this lifetime. Or maybe, car wreck, that car could just swing, it went to this car and took it off the road.
What are yours?
Oh, I've got quite a few, but talking about cars, I was driving in Phoenix. If you've ever been down there, they've got these big, wide roads that are like 8 lanes across. And I just look up, and there's this guy, and I could see him in his car. He looked just terrified. his car was out of control and he was swerving back and forth across all the lanes, and I was just driving right at him, and in my mind I was like, should I stop? And they're like, don't stop. And I was like, okay. And I just did this, stay in your lane, keep going forward, don't move anywhere, and let him like move away from you. And sure enough, he came swerving right in front of me, looked me in the eyes, and just, I remember feeling this in my body. I was like, I don't want to get in a car accident. And it was like, I have no better words than saying it was like magic. The cars didn't hit, and I just saw him in my rear view mirror continuing to go down. And I've had head injuries. I had an experience in a river once. I think when we're children, we tend to be more open. We have so much more kind of innocence. We're not kind of denying or trying to explain things sometimes. And so I had this experience, and I think you might still, I have a very faint birthmark here. And I remember being a kid, because you try and explain things like a kid would. Forgot to put sunscreen on, which is a big thing because I'm pale enough where it's not fun. And I that's how I explained it. My 7-year-old mind, I said, oh, I must have just forgotten to put sunscreen right here on my arm, which doesn't even make sense as an adult, right? But I remember I fell into, we were at a playground, I fell on the cement, and I'm just going to explain to you how it felt like, because when you start to get into these dream worlds, it doesn't operate the same as our physical reality. So that's where, again, I love that word like. It was like this. And it literally felt, I tripped and fell, and it felt like I kept going through the ground, through the cement, and I was like rolling around almost like Alice in Wonderland, and I popped up, and there were all these, I'm going to say, like, weird looking people. And they were very nice to me, but they told me I had a very big job and that I was going to go to school, and a bunch of other information. And then a little while later, I always just called it the school in the wall, because that's where it was. This portal would open up in the wall, and I would go to school in my dreams at night, and I was being taught a lot of this stuff, and of course, you know, in our daytime world, I don't think anyone shows up and are like, oh, what are your credentials? Oh, I went to dream school. Like,
Okay.
I can't tell you I'm good at what I do. I just, not everyone takes that as legitimate training. Right? So you really have to play with these two realities. In my mind, that's what I like to call it, is two realities. And Deborah is a past English teacher, and she gets in her words very specifically, and I'm more loosey-goosey. If you get what I mean, that's what I mean. But I continually have experiences where I'm having spiritual awareness or intuition come through, and it's like this mirroring effect. And so when you talk about something like the birds, right, you can ask, oh, are those, you know, little messengers coming through? Are those sacrifices? Is that, and you can start to play with, you know, this is what's happening physically, but also if you have an awareness of what's happening in my dreams, where are my thoughts going, what are my emotions happening, what kind of information am I picking up from this, and it's going to be the same story on both sides of the fence, sort of say. And so then all of a sudden you have more information to tell you about the journey you're going through, because a big thing in this life too is we're consistently moving towards this perfection. And what I mean by that is, if everything was hunky-dory and going fine, we'd just all be having fun, you know what I mean? Like, we wouldn't have any experience, any growth. And so oftentimes, whether it's the type 1 diabetes or whatever kind of you know, bad, and I say that loosely because everything is neutral, but whatever is coming to you that may appear to be challenging or difficult, it's really a beautiful opportunity for you to grow and develop a new state of perfection within you. And we go through this again and again and again through life, because it would be so boring if we just did one thing and that was it. And you graduate high school, you're going to be a mechanic. There you go, do that forever and then die. Like no one wants that. That's not a dream story, right?
And it's not a part of what your scenario that you
No,
made before
no.
you came in
I
here.
mean, I've had a lot of different experiences that have been interesting over the years. But truly, I think everyone in this room has had life shifts occur, and it is like a new chapter that all of a sudden you get a whole new story to play with, right? And when you think about it in terms of your learning too, whatever happened before, like you got to a place where everything that could have come out of that came out of that, right? You got to walk away with this gratitude, saying like, I lived that experience to the fullest, and now it's time for this new one. So that's my.
Another question about there's something that I've been working on, getting my Irish citizenship through descent. I've been wanting to do this for years, and finally it's like all happening. It's supposed to be getting it, like at least getting my application in next month. So my big question is like, why am I being pulled to do this? Because part of it's like, well, I don't think I'll ever live in Ireland, but is this like ancestral pulling me towards going back to Ireland? Or
Because you've lived there before. Do you understand that? Past life. And it brings you comfort to be. That country brings you comfort. The culture brings you comfort. And so, because of a memory of comfort from another time. And that's really sweet. I mean, not everything has to be serious. And I learned this, but that's the sweet thing that you're doing for yourself, and I congratulate you on that. Indeed. Do you want to say
Are you
something?
open to sharing what kind of work you're in?
I'm doing money coaching and daily money management.
Okay, great. Yeah, because what I heard right out the gate was that this is important for your career. And it seems like what I'm picking up is it's a lot more about clout. And it seems like you have this like incredible client that brings you a lot of business and profit and whatnot. And it's this connection point, and it seems like you two have known each other in other lives.
That's what I'm saying.
But it seems like you show up and meet this person, and you're like, oh, by the way, I have this like Irish dual citizenship. They're like, what? And it like creates this seniority isn't quite the right word, but it establishes this trust that this person's the same as me. They have similar values. And that quality is what really gets you the initial job. And it seems like then it rolls into many, many more jobs. Yeah.
Follow that passport.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm planning on getting mine too. So
You have Irish descent?
No.
Greek.
Greek.
Yeah, and I already have the registered birth, and most of our family is still there. And one of my cousins is a ambassador Greece. So he's like, oh, just bring this paperwork and we'll take care of it. I'm like, all right. Cool.
All right, go for it. I think that's good.
I don't know if that's
Yeah.
going to give me any money making cloud. But you two can let me know.
Well, the thing about it is that it gives you, it will give you joy because it's important to you, your Greek heritage. Very important. I mean, decisions you make don't have to be these huge, like my moving to Houston. We were just talking about Houston. And the thing about, and it's so funny because you're so attached, which I think is great. I mean, you're attached to Greek mythology, and it just brings you joy. And I'm glad you're doing that for you. Because you're not doing it for anybody else, right? You're doing it for you.
Just want to have it.
Yeah.
Show it to me when you get it.
No, just quickly, I really see you using that to like effectively spend an extended time there, almost like a summer or something. It seems like you go back and visit for a couple months at a time, and
Yeah,
they're
she's
talking. There's a
done.
wedding there that's really important for you to
Yeah,
go to.
it's really-
And it seems like these people aren't even engaged yet, so you might not know about it. But they keep talking about this wedding, and it almost seems like you have some, whether it's a spiritual influence on it, or what is the ordained person who conducts what do you call them?
Yeah.
Well, and there can be so many different
Officiant.
versions. Officiant, thank you. Yeah, but it seems like you're something like that, and so it's very important that you're able to. That is your avenue to have access to these other experiences in the future. Or yes, an avenue, right? Because when we talk about manifestation, Spirit's always going to give us the easiest
Yeah.
way there, right? And so then it's kind of like what we were talking about earlier too. When you get your intuition, if you don't understand the message again, it's just going to come up again.
It'll come back.
So if you don't take the first door, they're basically like, okay, well that one was the best, but we got another door number 2, we got door number 3. Like they're just going to keep trying to give you the access to the experience that your soul is looking for to have whatever kind of growth or lesson or experience or development that is important to you at that time.
I get a sense of if something's not working, then it must not be the right thing. Like if I'm forcing this, I shouldn't be doing
Well,
it.
and I agree with you.
Yeah, that's
That's
good.
a good rule of thumb.
Kind of came into this idea of because I'm not getting what the next thing is.
Yeah.
So I'm still here doing this thing, and so I've come into this feeling of I just want to operate at the best of my ability, whatever I'm doing, and then I'll be more open to the next thing.
Yeah. And I do want to caveat with that. I think you're right on, but sometimes it's just not right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not that won't happen, but it's not the right timing for it to happen the way that is better. And I use that term lightly.
Right. Yeah.
But there's a better fruition of that at another time. But generally, yeah, if something isn't working, like it's not meant for you. So,
Because we're back again to everything is energy. If the energy is constantly bumping your head against the energy, that tells you something right now. So you back off on whatever that is you're doing. But you have to understand that to trust your guidance. Trust it. It's hard sometimes because you want to argue with it like I do, but it's imperative that, and you'll get to the point as you go on and on with your life, being aware of your intention and being aware that you have guidance around you. The thing about guides is, and I asked this about my guide, I said, basically, what do you get out of being a guide? I mean, what is your benefit? And they said, when you have evolved and we helped you evolve, because we can't do it for you. They can't come in and save your life. But when you are evolving, we're evolving, which I thought was so beautiful. And it's kind of like that. You remember that movie, It's a Wonderful Life? Remember that was the whole thing? This guy wanted his wings to be a real angel. And so if he helped this guy from committing, don't commit suicide, then he'd get his wings. It's that kind of energy. This helps and that helps. It's a cohesive help. So, and it's really very beautiful, the whole idea.
I can't remember who said it, but there's that saying that perfection is not when something else can be added, but when nothing else can be taken away. And that's really how energy works, right? Because we talked a little bit about law of attraction and law of vibration. You're attracting what is within you. So do you think, if you are running up against those walls in terms of your manifestation or what you're trying to do in some way, ask yourself if there's something that needs to be, energetically removed from your system to make that easier. Because sometimes that can shift things quite quickly. And a lot of times that's, people who are around us, that's the relationships that we have. And shifting your relationships and shifting who you're surrounding yourself with will alter your energetic reality quite rapidly.
I have podcasts on my website, and that one of the ones I did was letting go of relationships. How important it is. There are times when you've got to recognize that this relationship, you can't save that person, so don't do it. So just move away because it's not helping you at all, you know. And it's sometimes it's people that are very close to you. We've all gone through that, you know. But letting go of relationships is actually very healthy. So, what are you doing over there?
I'm letting go of relationships.
She's letting go of something over there.
Excuse me. Don't mind me. I did just notice we've got about 10 minutes left in this session, and I know we've been discussing things, but does anyone have any questions or
Anything
other
to
things
ask,
that are
anything you
coming up?
want.
This has been a really good discussion. I know we've hit on a lot of different flavors of the work that we do.
I am. I've been working with a coach who's been working with the Akashic Records.
Love it.
And it's been really helpful and cool, and so I was like, I want to do that. And so I bought some programs through its Soul Realignment, it's called. But I haven't listened to them at all. And so I'm just noticing that, how come I'm not doing this? And I'm just wondering about if that's my path or it's not the timing or what.
There's a big reminder that you already have access to this, whether or not you recognize it. And Deborah's a big fan of words. I always remember synonyms. So when we hear about that Akashic Records, Akash is a Sanskrit word that is kind of talking to the all that is, right? And anytime you have intuition, you're connecting in with that.
You're connecting to God or the all that is. Yeah.
It's just one term, right?
Yeah.
And so know that fundamentally you already are doing this, you already have access to this, and allow this training to help kind of show you the mechanics of how it works and maybe give you some tips. But having a wholehearted knowing that you're already doing this first and foremost, and kind of playing with your own abilities will get you further than, because remember, even as Deborah and I are talking, everyone has their own kind of natural way of doing things. Everybody can do it, but everyone has their kind of unique spin on it. And so I think it's more important for you right now to learn your personal unique spin and what your natural talents are than to try and align with someone else's natural blueprint, right? Because we all have this blueprint within us that is exactly where we're supposed to go. If I showed up and tried to be like...
That you create yourself. That blueprint was created by you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that's another saying that came to mind. It's a yogic saying, and I'm going to paraphrase, but something along the lines of, it's better to do your own purpose mediocre than someone else's perfectly. Right? We all kind of have our own purpose, our own thing we're supposed to be doing.
It's interesting because when I look at each of you, I see your light. And I never look at it as comparing your light with her light or anything. That's not what it's about. But it's observing and seeing the beauty of each of you. You forget, we all do, how beautiful we are. Right there, you know. Our light is beautiful. And there are no accidents in the universe. You're here, you're supposed to be here, you know? And that's critical. And that was one of the first things my guides taught me is, we want you to understand this. There are no accidents in the universe. And I was going, oh no, what about this? What about, this is when I used to argue with them. Now I just go, oh, okay, go ahead and talk. But I would like to say something about each of your light before we go. Did you want to say something as well about each? Why don't you say something? Because you've got something that, see, I see her stuff too. You got something beautiful
to say. This is the fun part.
There.
I don't always know. Okay, yeah. So when we're talking about Akashic Records and kind of finding intuition and things like that, I think you guys notice I look up at the ceiling all the time. Right? But a lot of times what I'm saying is these assumptions, right? This information that I'm seeking is available and out there. I simply need to attract that energy to my energy so that I can perceive the guidance that I'm trying to trust. And then I just kind of do a scan, and usually I scan up, but sometimes I scan down, and I do this enough where I just am like ding ding, you know, pop in. But if you're newer to it, you can do a little scan and say like, where is this knowledge, where is this information, where is this guidance, and wherever you start to feel it, and usually it's a temperature change or an energy change. If we're really visual, a lot of times I'll see, if you ever have seen the pavement when it's really hot, it kind of has those heat wave lines. We're looking for something like that. You're looking for where is it different, right? And then you can attract that energy and then bring it down and say, okay, what is this message? What is this gift? What is this knowledge that's coming to me? And simply having that mental assumption that any guidance or information that's helpful to you is available to you. It does exist. Mm-hmm. And you just need to attract yourself to it now and interpret it and understand it. So.
And you know, one of the things, because we both give personal readings, and I think that's really important for everyone, and not just because that's what I do, but I know that when I have a reading with someone one-on-one, there's so much more to see, and you know, because we're connecting. So I suggest that people, or I've given them as gifts, that you get a reading. And when you're ready, remember, you're listening to your intuition. Oh, you know what? I think I will get a reading. You know, but don't do it because you felt like, should I or should I not? I mean, do it because you really, that instinctive feeling says, time to talk to someone that sees things in a different way, you know, sees energy in a different way that I see energy. So, yeah, I think those are really, really important.
A lot of times it can be very validating too.
Yes,
to have someone else
absolutely.
pick up on the same thing that you are already intuiting.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Take it away, Deborah.
You want me to tap dance?
I would love
I
that.
thought about singing, but I can't sing. I have the most god awful. But see, here's what
That's what I meant. But
well, see, I love
more
New
than you
Orleans
paid
funk music, and I also love the blues. You know, so I love jazz. But all I would like to do is with this, do this as a group, but it's going to be your individual, is to close your eyes. Not right now, I'm just going to tell you the steps, and then we'll do it together. But you're going to close your eyes, and we're going to, and I want you to get yourself into, there's going to be a curtain that opens, so just, you can see it, imagine it yourself, however you want to do it, but a curtain will open, and an image will come through. And don't say, is that this? First image you see, hold on to it, because I'm going to talk to you about what that image means. Okay? Everybody ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Curtain is there. Curtain is drawn. First image you see. Hold on to it, and I'll go down the line. What do you see?
Elephant.
Elephant. Elephants are persistent, and they're also very much caring for each other. You know, the herd thing, but they really do care for each other, and they're very intelligent.
Sunshine. Blue sky.
You know, sunshine is so wonderful because that's what we are as a part of us, our light. But for you, sunshine is even more. Sunshine, when you see sunshine, you know you've done what you need to do. It's always will be your symbol in your life. So remember that. Cheyenne, what'd you see? Big white ball? You know, that's, oh boy, you got an easy one. Oh, it's a huge ball of energy that is coming to you, and that you can just, every time you see that ball, I want you to start seeing that ball, not just at that moment we did it. Seeing that ball, just visualize yourself grabbing it, and it will take you where you need to go. Trust it, because it is a part of you and it's a part of the universe.
I'm looking up for flowers because I wasn't sure what it was called. Okay.
Would you? you seeing,
Well, I
Lenny?
thought it was the iris, but it's a gladiola.
Gladiator. Wait a minute, what did you just do? Did you
I
have
had to Google it. 'Cause
Listen, she's got to
No, I Google stuff all the time. I'll be like, I think
do
it's
too,
this.
but I just
well, I saw it. My mind was like it had an iris, but it wasn't. It was the gladiola. You know the ones, the long ones that have the
Yeah,
flower shoots.
yeah, they're beautiful, beautiful. Later on, just
Maybe it was supposed to be an iris. That's the word that came to my mind.
where Irish came to you, Iris.
Iris.
Okay, and
I
then
saw the gladiola.
you sure it was a gladiator? I don't know flowers well enough, but I do know this. Whether it's the gladiola, for both, would you please do spend time reading about each of them
Okay.
and the energy they have, because that means that you were just given two signals or two things to see. But the biggest thing is to pay attention to your gentle self, because you're always making sure things get created and done, you know, that kind of thing. But pay attention to your softness, which is what flowers are. They symbolize softness and gentleness, kindness to yourself. You know, that is critical for you as you continue your life, and it's going to make much more sense in 10 years. It's going to be, you're going to be looking at life differently anyway.
It's making
Be-
sense right now.
Okay, we'll take it. Oh, you want one of those too?
Well, I
What'd
mean,
you
yeah.
see? What did
I
you
saw
see?
mangoes.
What did you see?
Like the fruit, I saw mango.
You know what that is. What is
Yummy treats.
First of all, yummy treats. That's actually very good. But mangoes also symbolize, I mean, we don't grow mangoes here. So for you, you would actually do well in a more exotic culture. That would blend with you well. And mangoes are sweet, and you prefer sweet things. I mean, not to eat, but sweet in life. That's
Yeah.
important to you. You like to have that sweetness.
Yeah, I love it.
That'd be $15.
What did you see something?
I did not. I saw the curtain, which means that allows me to be open. If my curtain open, so I
Yeah.
can see, tell about the symbolic nature of what you saw and everybody saw.
Yeah,
So I go by that.
I love it. Yeah, a lot of what we talk about is the symbols, so don't take everything literally.
Mango lady.
I do like mangoes. I have a very exotic pet as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So,
All right.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
well, if you're interested, we decided that our first two events would be no charge whatsoever, but we will start charging in the future. But we have one coming up May 18th, same place, same times, and if you're welcome to return, whatever your intuition tells you, follow it.
Completely. And we're hoping to get an online aspect as well. So if people aren't in the Portland area, they can join.
They can ask
remotely.
questions online.
We've got sessions scheduled monthly all summer through August. So there's some flyers in the back as well. So feel free to take those.
Yeah.
And
Definitely be sure to take the flyers for you and our business cards, just
Yeah,
so you
yeah.
have that
You
if you
take
wanted a personal
anything
reading.
back
But
there.
I try to have it. My 2 books are back there. They're great.
yeah, there's some good information. And then we also have a raffle today as well.
Yeah.
Did
Lenny needs to. Let me
Yeah,
get,
so we'll
let me
make
give
sure
you-
to
Yes, she
get
did.
one of
She
those.
was-
So yeah, we'll do a raffle and someone will get a free session. So we're hoping, really, this is the start of a new chapter for us as well. And so I think we're hoping just to get the word out. And so if this resonated with you, please let people you think might be interested know about it.
Now, we know in the universe there are no accidents. There is no such thing as luck either, by the way. Everything is created. So, whatever I draw, this is what's happening. So what's going to happen is I draw one, and that person gets a personal reading with you.
Me?
Yeah, what's your name again? I keep
I
forgetting.
don't have one.
And then draw again and get a reading with me. So let me see what we got. Let's see what we got here. Here we go. What's the one that ends 725? Whose name? I got a
Oh,
number
you
for
wrote these down here.
Yeah, see the number?
Alini, congratulations.
As if you need that, but anyway. Good.
Gary did all that.
That's why you got to come to them early. That's
Yeah, that's
where
right.
the good
That's
stuff
right.
is.
All right, 727.
Kim.
Okay. Okay. We're always going to do this drawing, so if you come back and get another, opportunity to put your name there.
So do we just contact you guys?
Yeah, we'll do that, and I'll get you my information before you leave. Deborah, anything else as we wrap up?
What's that?
Is there anything else as we wrap up?
Oh no.
Oh yeah, just
Let me think. Did anybody have? I just want to make sure everybody's comfortable, or anything you didn't understand, or whatever symbol I gave you, whatever your guidance gave you. Just make sure. But I don't want you to leave wondering. Just make sure that happened. And I guess that's about it. Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, thank you all for
Yeah,
coming.
we have a
Do
4
keep in
o'clock
touch.
session coming up, so get that one going.
Beautiful.
Huh? So glad y'all came.
And Alini, I don't know. I don't expect that you've looked at my website.
No, okay, I actually
Come to the
have
next
not,
one.
but was going to.
Yeah.
Trying to get-
Well, what I wanted to tell you,
Gotta
if
get in
you
there and
get to
get
my
that reading
booking
with
page,
me
there's
for
this one
free.
that says with gratitude 60-minute session, and it'll just hop over the payment side of
Yeah,
things,
no
so then
matter
you can look
what,
at my
that's right.
calendar. Typically, I have Tuesday and Thursday evenings.
that's for you to
and
take home.
I'm pretty sure Saturdays are
So,
booked
and
up
there's
for a
this
couple
look.
months.
This is